headlines in Nigeria, Abia, and beyond. Well, to some of the stories we have been tracking this hour, President Donald Trump sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. In Nigeria, there are 774 local governments in the country to open dedicated accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria for the direct disbursement of allocations to them from the Federation account. And as far as Abia State is concerned, Governor Alex Oti flags of rehabilitation of 200 primary healthcare facilities across the state. Well, my guest this morning is the Chairman Governing Council, Institute for Security and Safety, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Vice President, International Security Association, Fellow of Ethical Leadership from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, a recipient of ZIGS Award on Innovation and Creativity, a pioneer inductee, National Integrity Hall of Fame, a former Argonne Secretary General, a Fellow of Chartered Institute of Forensics and Fraud Investigators of Nigeria, Interpol Systems Consultant and Security Expert, Sir Chikwe Udensi. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program. Hello, can you hear me, sir? Hello? Can you hear me, sir? Okay, so we will try to re-establish contact with our guests, and then as soon as we can, we'll bring it on. Bring him on. Stay with us. Well, it's Open Parliament Seal Midweek Edition. Our guest is Interpol Systems Consultant and Security Expert, Sir Chikwe Udensi. Can you hear me, sir? Good morning to you.
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. C.
Fantastic, fantastic. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, let's start with what happened a couple of days ago outside the shores of the country, as we sometimes do on this program. And that's having Donald Trump sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. His inauguration did happen on the day, and officially he becomes the 47th president of that country. Previously served as the 45th president between 2017 and 2021. Now, well, in his inauguration, he did promise to liberate the country from what he called a radical and corrupt establishment, and went on to sign some executive bills and others. I'm sure you followed. What do you make of what transpired on the day, and how swiftly he hit the ground running?
Thank you very much, Mr. C. I followed very closely. Do not forget that we have the International Security Association, the U.S. chapter, that also makes sure that they make some provisions in the area of security for both the campaigns and the elections proper. So I followed it very closely. I was very impressed with the way America handled it. I followed the campaigns of Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, even the campaigns of Kennedy. Some people did not know that it was not just only Kamala Harris and Trump. Kennedy was also part of it. So I followed very closely, and I was very impressed that this is exactly what is happening around the world, and that is exactly what we ought to be emulating. Do not forget, Mr. C, that in the process of looking for the kind of system the government system we're going to use. Then we chose the presidential system of government. That presidential system of government is exactly what America is doing. So ordinarily, one should expect that we should be emulating the presidential system of government of the United States of America. But that's not the case. But I was interested. I was very happy as things unfolded. The first day of his inauguration, he had a program, a physical program. His team was ready even before he was sworn in. He made his team available, sent it to the House for clearance before even he was sworn in. And look at his team. United States of America, with almost 400 million people, 50 states, only 14 secretaries. That is 14 ministers. Nigeria, that ought to be emulating what America is doing, about 200 million people, 36 states. We have 49 ministers. They have 14 only, and they're doing a better job. They're bigger than us. The economy is bigger. In fact, the economy of one state is bigger than the whole of Nigeria. But they have only 14. 14 effective ministers. But we have 49 here and doing nothing. So as much as one is happy with America, Mr. C, as much as we are happy that we emulated the presidential system of government, how come we take the bad things? Just like the worship of God. When we chose Christianity and some other kinds of religion, look at how we bastardize it. It is totally different from what those we emulated it from. Those we borrowed it from, how they practice it, how they do it, it's totally different from what we have. We have bastardized our arrangement and we have made a mockery of the processes and procedures that ought to work very well. So I commend President Trump. He wasn't my candidate. I would have preferred Kamala Harris.
Oh, really?
Yes, he wasn't my candidate. See, what I did here, Mr. C, I chose to take the good parts and the good things they have proposed. I identified good things Trump proposed. I picked them up. I identified good things Kamala Harris proposed. I picked them up too. But Trump, to me, is a bigot, if you ask me. Trump believes that white people should remain separate from black people. He has said that several times. He took out a full-page advertisement so many years ago. I was in America then. I studied in America for almost 14 years. And he took that advertisement against black people. He refused to accept a black man to rent any of his apartments in the Trump apartment when I was there in America. So I know Trump. He's a bigot. He's what we call here a tribalist. It's a different thing from Kamala. Kamala is a more open person. But one thing about Trump, which I so much loved, which he did from day one, is that, number one, the United States government officially recognized man and woman as the only gender in America today. You don't choose, I'm sorry, your sex is chosen from birth. You don't change it. You don't come with any kind of LBGQ, MCL, or whatever numbers you come with. It is a man and woman. And Trump did it by presidential orders. From the first day, he became the president of America. So they have their goods and bads. So what I did here is to weigh them and see how best we can emulate the good ones and jettison the bad ones. I congratulate Trump. He hit the ground running, set his agenda, and put America on the path of progress.
So, in specific terms, now, what can Nigeria learn? You've talked about emulating and all, but what can Nigeria learn going forward? So,
We have refused to learn.
Yes.
Nigeria has refused to learn. So, the more we talk, it appears we are talking to either deaf people or we are talking to people who are deaf and dumb. Listen to me, Mr. C. What business do we have with 49 ministers? What business do we have with that? We are emulating something from the United States of America, and there are 50 states. We have only 36. 50 states, 14 ministers. 14 ministers. What are we doing with 48? 35 ministers, more than where we are emulating from. I'm tired of this idea of trying to advise government, and the whole thing is like falling on deaf ears. And when you speak and give these ideas free of charge, our people will not listen to it. It is very frustrating. We ought to learn that. We ought to also learn the seamlessness and the effectiveness of how things work. You saw the processes. Within 45 minutes, those who ought to come in the first 5 minutes took their seats. Those who ought to come in the next 10 minutes took their seats. That serial numbering of effective way out of all the officers, they properly seated, and the process commenced at the appropriate time. Hours, you see the negatives of man, you see the flaws of man. Those who ought to come by 2 o'clock will come by 5 p.m. 2 hours after. Halfway, the microphone will stop working. Those who ought to sit in the first row will insist on going to second row. You look at how everything was also ordered. Things acted in the way they ought to appear. There was orderliness. That is what we keep saying, that we should emulate that orderliness. That concord and orderliness, that's what we ought to emulate. It is very lacking in our society. If you consider the fact that this is people we are emulating, this is where we took our presidential system of government. In fact, ours is no more presidential system of government, it is now presidential system of wastages.
Interesting. Oh, well, let's move away from the United States of America. Let's look at security now. And like many parts of the country, Anambra State has been grappling with growing security challenges that has intensified over the past few years. The likes of organized crime, political violence, armed robbery, kidnapping, courtism, and others have been on the increase. Well, apparently to tackle this, the state decided to introduce the Anambra State Homeland Security Law of 2025 that came into effect a couple of days ago. I'm sure you did follow. Security is your forte. What do you make of it, and do you think this should be replicated across board? When I mean across board, I mean the other Southeast states as well.
Thank you, Mr. Sophie. Don't forget that I was a member of the Anambra State Transition Committee.
Oh yes, you were.
Yeah, I was a member. When I was nominated, the nomination came with the various committees and the expectations the governor had put together for the committees. I looked very closely. I saw all areas in healthcare, economy, agriculture. I saw all the areas of human endeavor. I did not see anything in security. I quickly called the governor. He's my good friend. I contributed much to his election. I called him. What did I say? Did you forget security? He said, no, he had a beautiful project, a beautiful idea for security. By the time we were about to finish, we chose amongst ourselves to put together a security suggestions for the governor. The committee of 7 came together and they chose me as their chairman. And we reached out to the leadership of the transition committee and they endorsed our security team. We made serious recommendations to the governor. And we said, you cannot do any of these things you are proposing in an insecure environment. Where there is no proper security, nothing much can happen. And we proposed 147 areas that are very, very important for him to implement to ensure that Anambra State is secured. And it is only when this security is guaranteed, that is only when these all various economic enablers you have put together that can work to. But unfortunately, nothing happened. Almost more than 3 years after his government, of massive insecurity in Anambra State. Less than 1 year to the elections and to his handing over, or maybe to his election, depending on which one the people choose. He is now putting together Anambra State Homeland Security Law. Well, let me thank the government for doing that. I've seen some of the things we proposed. This is exactly what we have put together. And we're happy we have started. Better late than never. However, we are not very happy with some of the areas he has added. There were areas he added, we didn't add. As much as one believes that it's at liberty to make those decisions. However, it is important you do not make any law looking at yourself. I recall some ABGA. ABGA was amending their constitution, Victor May, and I said, you are giving yourself more powers, extra powers, superlative powers as the chairman of ABGA. You are doing that because you think you are now the chairman. You may not be there forever. When you leave, this same law you are putting together now can be used against you. You didn't understand what I meant until you left office. And we ran away from ABGA because that same law we put together, that authority and power he gave to the office of the chairman was used against him. Today, we have seen what Anambra State government has put together. Beautiful ideas. Part of it was what we proposed. But part is what we are not happy with. What do I mean by that? Extra powers has been given to the governor. Superlative powers has been given to the governor. I was watching the social media. That was 2 days ago or yesterday. I saw them pulling down. They went into action immediately. They started pulling down properties that were suspected or alleged to have been used for insecurity, kidnapping, or any form of banditry. They started pulling down the properties. I reached out to find out what processes did we take to determine that these properties were actually used for a purpose. If there's no proper adjudication, if there's no proper process, you are going to leave it in the hands of politicians, and politicians will start demolishing the houses of their enemies, reporting it to have been used for kidnapping. As I say, I'm saying this because I understand that I've been a victim too. And we know what happened even in Abia State, our own state. The truth remains that from 1999 up to today, none of these governors have not abused power. None of them. From 1999 to today, all the governors who have had have at one time or the other targeted their opponents and used their power against their opponents. If you allow that, you'll be setting a very bad precedence of retaliations, revenge, because you will not be there forever. You can't be governor forever. I recall when TALG was the governor of Abia State, they were after me. They used the instrumentality of the government, they used the instrumentality of security forces against me. That is why I say, Mr. C, it is always very important to have checks and balances. Do not make laws that give you extraordinary powers because you don't be there forever. When the extraordinary powers are made by way of laws, it can be used against you.
Yeah.
There are so many things in there that's interesting. They are very interesting, especially the ones they added.
Yes. I mean, you've talked about, the governor having sweeping powers over the security committees and the security outfit codenamed which is fears that this could be used for political expediency. But let's look at the other issue of fulfilling the essence of this law, and of course the outfits put in place. There are those who have argued that a regional security outfit, like what we have in the southwest with Motekun, should be replicated in the southeast. I mean, there was a semblance of that when there was an establishment of Ibubeago, an outfit where some people would argue is into extinction right now. Should we be looking at individual states establishing their own security outfit and maybe replicating this law, or don't you think that security outfit should be more holistic?
I was listening this morning to the Commissioner of Information in Anambra State. He was complaining about the neighboring states, especially Imo State, infiltrating into Anambra State to commit all kinds of heinous crime and also go back to Imo State. He was complaining bitterly, very, very bitterly, not just Kotulo on NTA. The issue of Southeast security was being discussed. So see, also just immediately after that, so Amotoku mobilizes 2,000 men to comb the whole of Southwest Forest. I looked at the two of them together, the two incidences that happened almost simultaneously, and I said, this is what was insulting. On this platform, on Open Parliament, I have consistently begged our governments in Southeast have regional security outfit that will ensure and enhance the security apparatus in Southeast. We said this over and over. When the issue of Drago was being mooted, I was very excited. Extremely excited. I called the meeting and I gave very lengthy, three suggestions on how best they can do it. And I said, well, I hope you're not in this process thinking of getting me involved because I'm doing other jobs that are keeping me busy. But I will give people sincere professional advice on how to do this. The Drago never worked, Mr. C. And I kept wondering, when they gather for their meeting, the Southeast governors, what do they discuss? Do they discuss about the security of their states? Do they discuss about what the best thing to do? Do they look for the best hands that will handle security in their states? I was very impressed with the see. Let me say this openly for the first time. When Mba Peter Mba, the day he was sworn in, I don't know Peter from Adam, never met him before, not my friend, don't even know who knows him. But I received a call and he introduced himself. And that his name is Mr. Mba, the of Enugu State. I thought it was a prank because I don't have his number. Yes, I thought maybe somebody was trying to pick on me. But when we continued speaking, I realized that he was a governor. She wanted to find out. She said he was talking to several people who spoke to a northerner called Dr. Kabiru Adamu. Dr. Kabiru Adamu is the best security risk manager in the country today. He's the highest consultant we have. Kabiru Adamu asked him to make sure he calls me. In fact, it was Kabiru Adamu that gave him my number. And he was going to call about 18 other specialists in this area. Look at how well Enugu is doing in the area of security. No noise about it. You cannot improve any society without ensuring proper security. I gave Tamba all the advices I gave. In fact, I had to send a few software him free of charge. Tamba was eager to make sure that his first step was security boosted. Look at the service. You don't need to make noise. You don't need to spend money for publicity for people to know what they're doing. In fact, when you spend money for publicity and talk too much and do less, you see people will be disenchanted. So Mr. C, we begged them to make sure that there was that house. If you do not do that, emphasize on your forests. 95% are in the forests. Everybody who came out from that process always said that they took us in the forest. Forest is not invincible. They're available there. They're in your communities. They're in your villages. They're in your states. Look at what Amotoku is doing today. I do not want to give myself maybe further giving advices to people who don't want to sell. The other four governors of Southeast are not taking our advice. I was told the other day.
If someone could quip in, does this have to do, or is this a function of the Republican nature of a Southeasterner? I mean, we could easily have corporations of this sort from other regions of the country, say the North and maybe the Southwest, as mentioned with Amotkun. What could be the reason?
We're not talking about individuals, Mr. C. We're talking about government. We're talking about governance. If the people are Republicans, does it mean that we cannot use an effective system of government to make sure that things are done well? Are we going to align our governmental activities to Republican approaches? No, Mr. C. It is not working very well in Enugu State. We are told now that the Bonny have taken over, working very well. Anambra State is coming up with something very. But if they had come together as a regional state, this complaint of another state infiltrating into we shall have a regional force. Our people always will say it is when the strengths are collective, they are higher, they are more effective, the more the merrier. That is what we have advocated. That is what we are asking our people. Let us make sure we have a regional security outfit that will guarantee some sensible sense of security in Southeast. We have the resources, we have the manpower, we have the intellect to do that. Why are we not doing it?
Open pass Interposem's consultant and security expert, Chikwe Udensi, is our guest here. My name is Mr. Suwuteke. When we return, we'll be looking at the local government, where it appears the Central Bank of Nigeria would be having a dedicated account of the 774 LGAs in the country, where funds will be directly disbursed. Talking about local government allocations. How effective can this help to boost local government autonomy in Nigeria? Stay with us. We'll be back.
Introducing ABN Radio and Television, your new favorite app. Entertained and connected with the latest news, music, and videos from Nigeria and beyond. Download the ABN Radio and Television app now on Google Play and enjoy live streaming of news, sports, music, and entertainment programs. On-demand access to your favorite shows and podcasts. Breaking news updates and notifications. Exclusive videos and interviews. Personalized experience with customizable settings. Get started in 3 easy steps. Google Play Store on your device. Search for ABN Radio/TV. Click install and start enjoying your new favorite app. Join the ABN Radio/TV and stay connected to what matters most.
Consultant and security expert, Chikwe Udensi. Yes, still. Don't forget, you can stream live on ABN Radio and TV. Let's look at the local government, as said earlier. As the 774 LGAs in the country are to open dedicated accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria for the direct disbursement of allocation to them from the Federation account. This is according to the Association of Local Governments, ALGON. According to the national president, Lawa Yande, he said the opening of the account is critical to the implementation of the Supreme Court's ruling on direct allocations to the councils. Can you speak to this, sir?
Yes, thank you very much. The new president of Algon is Bello Kaita. It's not Yandake. Yes, they visited me last week. They came to pay a courtesy call and tell me that we have a new executive of Algon. You recall that I was secretary general, so I guess they were going around meeting those who at one time or the other have contributed to ensure that Algon was on the front burner. So they came to me. We had almost a 3-hour meeting. And in the course of the meeting, I realized that they had gone to seek for extra help from both the federal government, the judiciary, and also especially the Attorney General of the Federation. They have gone to seek extra help. And they want to explain to them that the Supreme Court judgment that gave autonomy, especially financial autonomy to local governments, is not being obeyed by governors. It's not working. The order of the Supreme Court that all revenues, all monies from the federation account that ought to go to local governments, it goes straight to the account of the local governments. It's not being obeyed by any of the state governors. In fact, apart from not obeying it, they are putting extra stumbling blocks, finding ways to make sure that that Supreme Court judgment is not implemented. That is what gave rise to the suggestion by the Attorney General of the Federation that is to open accounts, and those accounts is open should be forwarded to the central bank to make sure that all allocations from the federation account that is meant for local government should go straight to the local government accounts. That's what gave rise to that, Mr. Phil. We are very concerned about funds that are meant to go to local governments, which is primarily intended for development at the rural areas, at the grassroots. It is still currently being hijacked by state governors. All state governors, including my own state governor. So whenever you hear the state governors say, any of the state governors say that they are not touching any state government, any state local government account, call me. I'll give you specifics of how they are totally bastardizing the process that was meant to develop the rural people, the grassroots people. So this directive has been given to the central bank. All local governments, I'm told now that it remains about only 4 states to submit their own account details. It is also understood that from next month, payments of local governments from the federal accounts will go straight to the local governments in question. And there's also some provisions here. The EFCC, the ICPC, and the NFIU, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, have been directed to ensure that this direct flow of funds moving from central bank to the accounts of local governments is not being traced back by state governors, because they will do that. I do not know why they feed fat on local government funds. I don't know why state governors have decided to strangulate some local governments. If you look at the amount of money that has gone to local governments within this period of time, especially this 2 years in question or in review, if you check the amount of money that has gone to local governments, if you put it equidistant to what has to developmental activities, or even payment of salaries, or remunerations, or even payment of pensions from this local government, it is not equidistant to each. This is what we have, and that's where the problem lies, Mr. Sir.
Well, Open Parliament, live on the frequency. Shortly, we would be hitting the phone lines for your reactions. But before we do, the governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Oti, has flagged off the rehabilitation, remodeling, and retrofitting of 200 primary health care facilities across the 184 wards in Abia. This within 100 days, while flagging of the project tagged Project Ekweme at the Primary Healthcare Center Angu, Uzuakolin Bende OGA. The governor said that it is in pursuit of the broad objectives for the healthcare delivery system that he initiated the project. Is this a good initiative, you believe?
Absolutely. It's a good initiative, and I commend the governor of Abia State for taking that step. But let us not forget that primary health care is a complete role of the local government. Primary health care is their role. So I hope the governor is going to be liaising with the local governments whose primary role it is to handle primary health care. It is very, very important that we look in that area. Primary health care centers in our country today, we understand we have about 48,000 of them. It's totally not functional. If you consider that we don't even have medical personnel, we don't even have allied healthcare staff as it ought to be in all these centers. So one is happy to know that the state governor is trying to help the local government in making sure that this is functional. 200 in Abia State is a large number. We hope eventually the state government will make sure that every community, we have about 300 and something communities in Abia State. With 200 being done now, it's very encouraging. And I commend the government for this very noble initiative.
The government, if you would make that point. Yes, hoping that.
I'm hoping that the government will effectively partner with local governments whose constitutional role it is to manage the primary healthcare centers. That is exactly where I'm coming from. And also hoping that we will have the personnel. That is where the problem lies too. We have enormous base of personnel, qualified personnel to run these healthcare centers. When I was Secretary General, we had initiated a process and we made available over 3 billion to make sure there was training of medical doctors and allied healthcare staffs to our primary healthcare centers. I do not know what's happening there right now, but that is where we had the big problem. And I tackled it headlong, making sure that even when you don't have medical doctor on 6, there must be a professional allied healthcare staff that will, in the interim, do the role of ensuring that there is healthcare delivery in the locality. This is what we achieved earlier, but I hope our government will leverage on that to make sure that we have qualified personnel. Very important. Qualified personnel, medical doctors and allied healthcare staff like nurses, etc., to handle our primary healthcare facilities.
Let's go to the phone lines now. 0816-111-5955 or 0907-103-6625. Again, it's 0816-111-5955 or 0907-103-6625. Don't forget, you can follow this program live on ABN Radio and TV. Let's take our first call. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you.
You will never go down in life. Excellent is my name.
Welcome. 1 minute.
Yes, my father. I always listen to my father. Thank God that you have said it all. Nobody has attacked you that you are saying the truth. But thank God that you said what you got that when we were in Odabia. When you were saying the truth, you were attacked. When we were in Odabia. But those people that were in government that are not praising you, telling you to come and protest, they're like listening to you.
Can you react to the issues?
I'm reacting to the issue, Mr. T. So what you are saying is that local government, yes, even whether local government or no local government, they have started doing work. Apart from this local government, even if they want to be going to their work, I also see they're doing what he's doing. They have touched all sectors, education, health, the infrastructure. Yeah. That is why you always give him kudos. So when we go out there, we say that one is 0 over 100. That is what we are saying in here. If you don't tell the truth, yeah, so you have to say the truth. Only that truth will set you free. You become governor of that state. So whether you like it or you must be governor of that state.
Thank you.
Because you are saying the truth.
Thank you.
Now they're not applauding you now. They were dealing with you then. They were prophetically lifted.
Thank you very much. 1 minute. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, my boss, that's good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Yeah, of truth, you are the man of philosophy.
What's your name?
I work with you since 2015.
What's your name?
Yes, you are a good man. My name is Honorable Kano, calling from Amaratam, in our local government.
Go ahead.
You are going to be our next governor. After 2031, you are going to rule this state as Udensi. I'm assuring you that. In the area of primary health center, yes, the planning of the innovation of primary health center is a welcome development because all the primary health centers in the state, many of them are dilapidated and there is no nurses there. And one of the primary health center in my place, one of them, so they have started it. The innovation is going on. Then it comes to terms of security. So our governor is trying his best to make sure we have adequate security in the state. So we do well. Then I want to plead all the governors. They should allow this local government autonomy to be. They should allow their location to they should allow the local government CFX to use their location to do work.
All right.
They should not touch it. They should allow it to be. Because it's for them. It's not for the governors.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. T.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, my able governor or incoming governor. Good morning, sir.
Welcome.
I have a question. I heard that Nigeria FG first time. I don't know how possible that would be throwing the ban on our president from traveling to US. How possible would the US side on by seeking FG side and FG seeking would be? How possible would that?
That question is not clear enough. Can you come again?
I said in the news today, FG is seeking stronger ties with the US. So how possible would that be when our president is being banned from visiting US? So I don't know how possible that would be. That is one. Now on the local government issue, I want to also ask, doesn't the state get their own allocation? Doesn't the state get their own allocation? So why is it that governors from hindering the local government from getting their own? So that is the second question, and I believe that Algo would do more. Thank God for the Attorney General who has ordered all those local governments to open accounts. So all the chairmen will be held responsible from next month if their money is appropriated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, talking about the president, our president being barred from visits in the US, that is pretty new to me.
I'm not aware of that.
Yes, absolutely not. But we'll still get back to the phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chikwe Udensi. God bless you. Nice hearing your voice. My name is Gonna Eric. I am calling from Manchester in Ologo.
Welcome.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually wanted to meet your guest in person or have his contact. I don't know how possible that is. I will need to explain myself a little. I will contact that later. Any other time. First of all, I appreciate the fact that he has given an analysis. The big difference. The difference between Nigeria and US, they are not comparable in any form. And I have always said it is almost near impossible for us to have been colonized by Britain and then we are practicing American system of government. They will never work. It will never encapsulate. It will never work. And what we are practicing, I like what he said, it's not presidential system of government. It's presidential system of misgovernance. And that is it. And it must be situated in that context and nothing added, nothing subtracted. Until we are ready to govern ourselves, then we'll come out fully and determine what we will practice and what we'll take up from where we are to where we want to get. But as for the issue of, wanting to see whether the government, the state government will be tampering local government funds, it's not all about legislation. Nigerians protect evil very well. The money can come, get handed over to the local government chairman, and they go and back and do whatever. But EFCC will not know, NFIU will not know. There are a lot of ways they will do it. But the thing is this, we must allow a process to work for the benefit of the majority. If we don't do this, we'll be, just making movement and not progress. Yeah, finally, if they are doing health care system, I want them to incorporate the local authority into it. It will help.
Thank you.
Because if you don't buy in the AZ, the PGs, the community chairman, it will not hold much.
Thank
because
you.
They will still do what they want to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, the pensioner I said about you. When are you coming back? They want to see you. Man, you see, what do I want to talk about this local government money? Any governor, where they drop local government money, we say Yahoo governor. Because this young boy, when they do Yahoo, they drop money, yes, they pursue them. Even the state governors are against the Yahoo boys. And the governors are eating local government money. They are Yahoo governors. So you're supposed to call any governor that is tampering local government money a Yahoo governor. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. We'll take one more call and then we get back to our guest. Hello, good morning.
Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
I remain Comrade Kushokuro Carlo. Good morning, Sir Chikwe Udensi.
Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Mr. C, it's been a while.
Yeah, we're here. Go ahead.
It's okay. My take this morning is on this latest development about local government, someone has for local government submitting their account number to CBN. I think it's a welcome development. Over the years, we had expected some of the governors who came as as agents crusade that they are going to lead the people out of poverty. And if you check very well, local government is the government that is closer to the people. So for us to
eradicate poverty totally, we have to work with the governor's court to allow free flow of funds direct to local government. It's unfortunate we find ourselves in this tight situation. So they should allow the federal government to do the needful. Then on the flag off of 200 primary health care centers retrofitting and reconstruction by the governor, let me make it clear that the governor should not allow this to be a lip service. So for the past 1 year, 6 months, we have seen him make some statements in some certain areas. And at the end of the day, it's not well implemented. He should make this a reality, not a lip service.
Thank you very much. The last call we take on the program this morning. Well, Chikwe Udensi, your reactions to the calls and your parting words.
Yes, it will be my parting words, not necessarily reactions to what we all have said.
Okay.
Or their opinions. Just a report that was just released. It was released by what a group that called themselves the Fourth Estate Initiative. They tried to look at what is happening in Abia State, Anambra, and Imo as against what is happening in Enugu State in the area of the governance and opposition. I don't know why they left the boy out of it. Anambra State and Abia and Imo State, the government there are loggerheads with opposition to the extent of which action disobedience, total disregard to decency is being the order of the day. In Abia State, if you look at the communication, according to the report, if you look at the communication between government officers, especially those that handle the publicity of government, the language they use against opposition, and also some part of the opposition, the language they use against the government, these are extremely unacceptable languages that people outside the state are beginning to observe it. And this is totally different from what is happening in Enugu State. The Enugu State government has little or no publicity with their projects. But look at how effective their projects are. Everybody knows what is going on in Enugu State. More than any of these southeastern states today in the area of development and security. And still no publicity. The people will see. They will see what's going on. They have eyes. The idea of over-publicizing what you're doing and doing less is unfortunate. It should be discouraged. Abia State, Anambra State, and Imo State, these three states have been found culpable in this area. And the Fourth Estate Initiative has condemned them in its entirety, and it's I'm surprised why they left the boy out of it. But they commented to a large extent what is happening in Enugu State, the developmental activities, the strides, the respect for opposition. The Enugu State government or the governor himself gave specific instruction that let none of his aides insult or use any derogatory against opposition. Even when opposition accuses them of any lapses, that their response should be to show what they are doing better than the other government that was before them. Right. This is what it would be. But Abia State, Anambra, and Imo State have been found capable of publicizing themselves and doing little. This is the report we have from the Fourth Estate Initiative. I'll send this report to you, Mr. Say. It's an interesting report.
We'll be glad to have that. Okay, well, we'll call it a wrap here. Chikwe Udensi, thanks so much for your time on the program this morning.
Thanks for always having me, Mr. Say.
Well, the midweek edition of On Parliament, Interpol Systems consultant and security expert Chikwe Udensi has been a guest. Thanks for being a part of the program. Your calls and listenership. We'll do it again, same time, same station next week. But the program returns tomorrow, the Thursday edition. In the meantime, the newsroom for the news at 10. My name is Mr. C.
This is ABN TV, where the world is on your screen, bringing you news like you've never seen. From headlines to highlights, we are your guide. ABN TV. Let's take you for a ride. Your stories, your world, your channel. ABN TV. This is ABN TV, where the world is on your screen, bringing you news like you've never seen. From headlines to highlights, we are your guide. ABN TV. Let's take you for a ride. Your stories, your world,